And welcome back, everybody, to WTL Where's the Line? I'm your host, Andy Class, and joined by
Jabron.
the Parlay Pounder.
Yeah, we're back.
Did some pounding last week.
We did.
Got to get back after it this week.
No doubt about it.
And we're starting Thursday night NFL football.
Yeah.
It's not on NBC.
Nope.
It's on a streaming service by the name of Prime that I think a lot of people have figured out by now.
Yeah, no, they've got their subscriptions in line and known that their wives have had about 3 or 4 of them over the years. So, yeah, everybody's figured it out by now. But, yeah, all these Thursday night games are played on Prime. And, yeah, that's where you got to go.
Yep, 7:15 Prime streaming. It's the Dolphins heading on up to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Curious line here.
Yeah.
Wow, and it's moved within the last couple hours here. Bengals, I got them at a -4. They are the 4-point favorite. Over-under at 47, was 47.5.
Yeah, for sure, Andy. And, yeah, like you said, a lot of these opened at -3 towards the Bengals and 47.5 as the over-under.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are just set in their ways thinking the Bengals are going to climb out of this kind of hole that they've created for themselves.
Yeah.
Miami's coming in at 3-0. Bengals are at 1-2. Now, just by the numbers, the Dolphins have defied logic with their win over the Bills to get to 3-0, and then following a nearly impossible comeback against the Ravens the week before.
Right.
So they have tiptoed around this and got 2 wins when it, nothing's easy in the NFL. I'm not trying to say that, Andy, but it looked like they were in dire need of points in both of those.
It's crazy.
And it came. There's just bound to be some regression. After, they don't have a very good run game, and it's just been Tua just kind of hacking it up. And with Tua's back injury and limited, like I said, running game, I think this is a tough spot for the Dolphins in a hostile environment on a short week.
But you are what your record says you are, right?
Correct.
Some coach said that one time, and right now Miami is 3-0 ATS against the spread.
Yep.
And you have to love that as a bettor. And Cincinnati, aren't they coming off a short week?
They are. They both are. Yep.
Okay, so it's going to be kind of a watered-down game plan. And on top of that, Cincinnati, it's early in the season. I get it, but they've underperformed.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's stats are kind of terrible.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Mean, they're garbage right now.
It's definitely not looking the best for Joe Burrow right now, but I just think this is just a big spot for Miami to have that classic meltdown while Cincinnati continues marching us back into the AFC playoff contention.
Well, so I like that 3 or 3.5. Now we're seeing it at 4. Are you still leaning on Cincinnati?
I like Cincinnati up to a touchdown, I believe. I'm looking at this probably about a 28-21 win for the Bengals. They cover the spread and, move on.
Okay, well, where I'm sitting at is I like the under.
Yeah.
And I got it at 47.5. It's already moved down to 47. With the short week, watered down game plan, I do think we're going to see some regression with Miami. Cincinnati, they got to get right. Like they're not even at the point where they can fall off. They need to figure something out.
Yeah, for sure.
You're also seeing a lot of that Tua injury. Man, that is his head? Is it his back? Is it his ankle? It's something.
It's something.
It's something. So that also bodes well for that under to hit. When Teddy Bridgewater came in the game, I think they went backwards about 20 yards. Or so. I mean, he had 3 plays and they were all terrible.
Definitely not the look that you want, for sure.
So I know it's a limited window there, but still, whenever a starting quarterback, they're being tight-lipped about the injury there.
For sure.
That's never good. That's never good. All right, so we're going to move on to the college ranks. Some Thursday night football. All right, Utah State traveling over to Provo, BYU, where BYU is a heavy favorite, -24. Over-under is also jacked up here at 61.5.
Yeah, Utah State and BYU renew a fierce rivalry, when I think there's a trophy for this one. I think it's the old wagon wheel or something like that, Andy.
All right.
But, yeah, the Cougars come into this, BYU, 3-1, number 19 in the nation.
Yeah.
Currently possessing, I just looked it up, that old wagon wheel trophy after taking it 2 straight in the series.
Yeah.
BYU is facing a Mountain West opponent for the second time in a 5-day span after beating Wyoming 38-24 on Saturday.
Okay.
I just really think that this is kind of the reason that BYU is moving up in stature for conferences. I think this is probably the final time that they're ever going to play these guys before they go to the Big 12 next year, and I really think they're going to put the licks on them. I think BYU probably about 42 to Utah State's. Let's go 10.
Okay, so I mean, that you're saying they cover this big spread easily.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing the consensus is moving up here.
Yeah.
24.5 already.
Yeah.
I like that as well. I think BYU is going to beat the living tar out of these guys. Utah State, they're as bad as the Nebraska Cornhuskers as far as against the spread.
Yeah,
to start
no doubt.
Season. They are 0-4.
0-4.
So don't be scared of this point spread here.
Yeah, 24.5. It's going to be child's play for these guys. They're going to come out and kind of just put their statement. This is why we're leaving.
Yeah.
You guys aren't in our class. I would be kind of skeptical, Andy, on that over-under. It's sitting at 60 right now on my book.
Yep.
And I just don't think that Utah State's going to be able to put enough points up to really hit that, because I think BYU is going to get about 40. I just don't think that Utah State can bring that 20.
And that's exactly what the line's telling us right now. It's already getting bet down. When
Right.
I was doing some notes earlier today, it was at 61.5 consensus. Now it's already down to 60. That's a 1.5 in a matter of a few hours. Just
Correct.
doing some research here. You're also looking at a BYU defense that only gives up about 150 yards of rushing a game.
To a good team.
To a good team.
Yeah.
So I like that as well. If I had to bet over under, I'll probably go with the under, even though that line is frantically coming down.
Yes, sir.
And I like BYU to cover. I think we're in agreement on that
Hey,
one. How about
look at that? Look at that.
All right, we're getting along here, guys. All right, let's move on to Friday Night
Heck
Football.
yeah.
6 o'clock kickoff on the mothership, ESPN. Tulane, the Green Wave, head on over to Houston to take on the Cougars. Got a 3.5-point favorite here in Houston. Over under set at 54.5. Jabron, what do you think of this?
Some books are kind of over, not looking at this one the same way. I still have 2.5 on a couple of my books, and it's been pushed to 3.5 on a couple. Consensus is at 54.5 on the over-ender there, Andy.
Yeah.
If you remember right, 2 weeks ago, Tulane, the Green Wave, beat a very, very, very good Kansas State team
They did.
that just took down number 6 in the nation, Oklahoma.
Yes, they did.
And Houston has been one of the most underwhelming teams in college football, coming in with a big ranking because of how good they finished last year. But, Andy, there's always a but.
Too many buts right now.
Houston's defensive line continues to be a tear on the opposition, but if they aren't in the backfield, they are bleeding yards. They get smacked if their defensive line
High risk, high reward defense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like Tulane's offense to put up points against this undisciplined Houston defense, but the tempo should send this game over.
Hit
the 54.5. The Cougars are playing at a top 30 tempo in the country, and Tulane hasn't been challenged by a vertical passing game like Houston yet.
Okay.
I expect plenty of possessions in this one, and I just think it's going to be, my best bet is the 54.5.
Is the 54.5 over, and that's moving up as well.
Yeah.
And it's because 95% of the bets right now are pouring in on the over. So the sooner you can get that in, if you like that, the better for you, because that line's just going to keep moving over. Because everyone has the same feeling. 2 weak defenses, 2 pretty good offenses. We've seen flashes from both.
Yeah.
And Tulane, they had that win over Kansas State, but then they came right back and lost a game they shouldn't have.
Exactly.
So they're an up and down team as well.
Yeah, I would say some people should look at the plus 125 money line for Tulane, but I just don't have.
Yeah.
I don't like backing a team that is up and down as this. I like the over. It's the only value play in the whole thing for me. So hit that 54.5 over Tulane Houston. That's what I'm sticking with.
And if you don't know if the line's not where you want it to be, you don't have to bet it.
Exactly.
So sidestep the damn thing.
Yep.
All right, now we got the big one.
Yep.
Friday night, 9:30 ESPN. Number 15 Washington is heading down to LA to take on the Coliseum, right? To take on UCLA, where the Bruins, they're a 3-point dog.
Yeah.
2.5 some books.
2.5 on some books, Andy. But what's really crazy about this game is the over-under is sitting at 64.5 points.
Yeah.
They are expecting these teams to just light up the scoreboard. Both of these teams are two of the only, last few that are undefeated in all of college football, Andy, with Washington being number 15 in the nation right now. I really like this matchup, Andy.
Should be a lot of fun. I will say this, though. UCLA, good start, right? They're 4-0. Can't get any better than that. However, they're only 2-2 against the spread, where the Huskies are 4-0.
Yeah.
And I love that body of work, what they've got going on right now. I feel like obviously they're the favorite.
Yeah.
So I really like them, and that 2.5, that's a key number.
Yeah.
That's saying they can still win by a field goal and take it down. So I like that for the Huskies right now.
Yeah, correct, Andy. And I was about to go the same way with it. Washington has been one of the biggest surprises in college football, obviously, blowing out the likes of Michigan State and Stanford.
Yeah, that put Michigan State on notice.
Exactly, as they jump inside of the top 15 in polls. So I really like Washington coming into UCLA right now. Their offense has just been fantastic, and I just don't see any way that UCLA's defense hasn't been challenged as much against a team like this. I really think they're going to put up points. Obviously, with that over-under, I'm going to stay away from that because that is just so many points to make up on.
They're smacking the overs, though. They have been all this season.
I agree.
Dating back to last season, they've been smacking that over.
65 points is just too much for me to risk on. I really like Washington here at a -2.5, and that's what I'm sticking with in this game.
What if it gets up to 3, and we know that could happen?
Yeah. I really like Washington no matter what by a field goal, but I wouldn't go any more than that. I wouldn't go 5. I wouldn't go 6.
3.5, stay away.
Exactly. I'm sticking at 3. That's why I'm locking it in at 2.5 right now.
There we go.
And I like it.
All right, you heard the horn there, folks. We are up against it, but let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is Play Action Pools, as they are revolutionizing group hosting platforms. Make it your new spot for all your football contest needs. Play today at playactionpools.com. And if you're new, if you're signing up, use promo code WTL. You know we got your back.
Yep, and shout out Matt Olinger. He is the college football pick'em winner of the week.
He's on top of the leaderboard now.
And we got some swag coming out to you, Matt.
Congratulations, Matt. Don't go anywhere, folks. We will be right back with more WTL.